I noticed her smile before anything else. It wasn't loud or dramatic, just a soft curve of her lips as she stood up from our table. I assumed she was going to the restroom or greeting someone she recognized from afar. Instead, she waved a man over, someone I had never seen before, and guided him toward us with an ease that made my chest tighten. When they reached the table, she placed a light hand on his arm and said his name as if it mattered. He looked confident, almost amused, scanning me quickly before sitting down without waiting for an invitation. The atmosphere shifted instantly, and I could feel people at nearby tables pretending not to stare. She introduced him as an old friend, someone she just ran into. Her voice was cheerful, almost rehearsed. I nodded politely, though my thoughts were racing. Something about the way she avoided my eyes told me this moment was intentional. He leaned back in his chair and started talking like he belonged there. His jokes were slightly disrespectful, his tone too familiar. I stayed quiet, listening, watching, letting the silence stretch longer than expected. Calm can be uncomfortable when someone is waiting for a reaction. I saw it then, the purpose behind the introduction. She wanted to see if I would get angry, jealous, or embarrassed. It was a test, or maybe a performance meant to boost her ego. Either way, I refused to play my part. When he finally turned to me and asked, "So, how do you two know each other?" There was a challenge in his eyes. That was my moment. I smiled, just slightly, and answered in an even voice. "I don't think this is the right table for you," I said calmly. No sarcasm, no raised voice. Just a simple statement, spoken with certainty. The words hung in the air heavier than any insult could have. He blinked, clearly caught off guard. He glanced at her, expecting support or laughter, but she froze. The confidence he walked in with drained from his face as the meaning of my words settled in. I continued, still calm. "We were having a private conversation. I'm sure you understand." My tone was respectful, but firm enough to leave no room for debate. People nearby went silent, sensing something important had just happened. He cleared his throat, mumbled something about not wanting to interrupt, and stood up. The chair scraped loudly against the floor as he walked away, suddenly in a hurry. He didn't look back. She sat there, stunned, her smile completely gone. For a moment, she looked like she wanted to argue, but no words came out. I could see realization slowly replacing her surprise. I didn't gloat or ask questions. I simply picked up my glass and took a sip, as if nothing dramatic had occurred. That calmness spoke louder than anger ever could. After a long pause, she finally said my name. I looked at her, still composed, and replied, "Let's not do that again." It wasn't a threat. It was a boundary. That night taught her something important, and it reminded me of something too. You don't need to raise your voice to be heard. Sometimes, staying calm is the strongest way to shut something down immediately.